Okay, so it's all too common that sometimes we just end up noodling the same stuff over and over again because we keep being stuck in the same scale over and over again. Often it's the minor pentatonic scale, at least for me. But what if I told you you don't have to learn more scales and modes to get unstuck and play more melodically? All you have to do is play more chords. Sounds crazy? I'm going to show you how it works. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how to play more melodically interesting things without learning modes and scales and all these different things, just by playing more chords all over the fretboard. I'm going to show you exactly what I did and give you a couple of examples that you can experiment with yourself. But before we do that, let me plug my guitar course real quick. If you like what you're hearing in my examples, if you like that style of playing is totally learnable with my guitar courses. Check out the link in the description down below. There's a melodic soloing course dealing with all things melodic, and then there's a power pentatonics course dealing with all sorts super cool pentatonic licks. So if you're interested in that, go check that out and let's dive right in. We have a backing track here that consists of B minor and E minor. We're going back to B minor. And then we have a turnaround on the F sharp major. And this is pretty much our 12-bar blues progression here. And all too often we as guitar players fall into the trap of just playing the pentatonic scale up and down because, it's fitting, it sounds good if I'm just doing that with the backing track. Here we go. And so on and so on. We can play minor pentatonic for days over this progression because it is a minor progression. However, that is when things usually get boring after a couple minutes, and which is why you need to change it up a little bit. And usually the trap that we fall into is just thinking about learning modes and scales, and you build this mountain of theoretical knowledge and you're like, oh no, I don't want to get through this. I'm just going to go back to the minor pentatonic scale, right? That's what we all do usually as guitar players, right? But I found a cool way how to get out of this without learning heaps of new stuff. So let's talk about the chords again that I just mentioned. So we're talking about B minor here. This is root for us, okay? Change it to the E minor. And then let's think about where these chords are in the shape that we're using. So minor pentatonic up here. Right? The thing is, we have the minor B in that shape. It's part of the pentatonic shape, is that B minor. And we also have the E minor that we're changing to in the same pentatonic shape up here. It's like the 9, 8, and the 7 on the G, B, and E string. Just like we have the B minor on the D, G, B, and E string on 9, 7, 7, 7. And what I did was I used arpeggios to make that sound more interesting. Instead of using the typical blues progression here, I started with Let me show you this real quickly. So this would be 9, 7, 7, 7, and then a big bend 10th fret B string. This was my, you know, welcoming kind of phrase here. And this is, strictly speaking, this is minor pentatonic, but we're thinking about it in a much different way. So we're using different note progressions here. So we're not playing. We're going straight into the B minor arpeggio. And then what I did next was I went down in the E minor arpeggio as soon as we hit the E minor in the backing track. So whenever the backing track changes from to, I went let me show you with the backing track. See, when you combine that, using these arpeggios and then adding a minor pentatonic line with a blue note, then it becomes this kind of mixture that sounds interesting. Starting with a minor arpeggio, pentatonic, arpeggio. That was the third arpeggio I haven't shown you yet. The third chord is the F sharp major. I'm using the, so that would be 9, 8, 6, and 7 on the B string. Same chord as down here. But you can use it as an arpeggio to spice up your pentatonic playing. Makes it sound more interesting. So no new mode, no new scale, just remembering the chords that you're soloing over and applying them as arpeggios in your soloing. That makes things a lot more interesting. Second turnaround then, I did the exact same thing again, just up here. Where is my B minor up here above the 12th fret? It's up here. It's in more places than just that, but that's what I used. So this one here would be 16 G string, 15 B string, 14 E string, hitting the 19th fret here on the E string, and then big bend on the 17th, up to the B. So same concept as before, but just with a different register here. See, it sounds so much more interesting if you're adding in these cool melodic arpeggios, and all you have to do for that is remembering the chord shapes all over the fretboard. So, what else? We have another E minor arpeggio up here as well. And what we can do is combine both in the upper register here to have a more emotional solo. So let's start with that again. This is the second arpeggio for the F sharp major. Just like a bar chord up here. It's 11th fret, D string, G string, and B string. There is your F sharp major arpeggio up here. So you have two chord shapes for each chord in the chord progression. So that's 6 different arpeggios that I just showed you that you can use to spice up your pentatonic blues solos. And all of a sudden you're not playing anymore. You're all over the fretboard. You're unlocking the fretboard. You're having new access to melodic notes, and that just makes your solo so much better. Let's just maybe go over this once more so we get it all together in one cohesive solo. I'll try it again. See, and just like that, with the 2 registers and 6 different chords that we're using as arpeggios in that solo, it's easy to tell a story throughout the solo and build up a nice emotional curve, you know? That solo can tell a story because there's enough to it, enough melodic content, enough, you know, chords, arpeggios, all that kind of stuff. And just like that, you have a solo that sounds a lot better than just noodling the pentatonic scale up and down. We know chords. The first thing that we start out with on guitar is chords, right? We learn a couple chords, but usually we only apply them down here because we think of chords as rhythm components to guitar playing, you know? And with that, I hope I showed you that these chords can really be used to spice up your solos quite a bit. If you're interested in learning more stuff like that, check out my guitar courses, as I said. Link is in the description down below. I hope this video helped you out in playing better guitar, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.